For some reason I had problems with starting, and when I get it started it drives normally, just that I do notice some black smoke when accelerating, and even when the fuel and air filters have been changed. So I start to suspect that the fuel injectors are leaking. So I decided to take them out and give them some good cleaning. So to reach them I have to take off the intake pipe, half of the intake collector and the engine cover. And after that I take off the fuel return line. And carefully remove the plugs on the fuel injectors. And next are the fuel injector feed pipes. You don't need to mark them because they are all the same shape. And one of the riskiest thing to do here is when you remove the fuel injector bolts, because they can snap so easily. And this is how the fuel injector heads look like. Have to be very careful when you open the fuel injector because it has lots of small parts in it. Don't lose that little spacer. After I take them apart, I put them in a small plastic cup and the cup above a magnet. That will keep them all in place, and after that I just submarine them into the ultrasonic cleaner. After cleaning, soak the parts in diesel or use the WD-40 on it, so that the parts will not get any surface rust. Make sure that the injector holes are clean. First to go back is a spacer. After that goes the needle spring. Next is the thrust piece. And inside it goes the tiny spacer. Two locating pins. Insert the needle into the nozzle. And keep some pressure on the nozzle when you connect the locking nut. I was looking for a torque spec and the number 70 Newton meters came up, so that's what I put on it. And after cleaning they look like that. But just to be fully sure, I took these injectors to a local injector tester. So the next day they came back with a report. So apparently 2 of the locking nuts had a leak. So they replaced them with a new one. They were leaking in between the nozzle and the locking nut. Usually they do recommend to replace those with a new one every time you open the fuel injectors. Before installing them back, have to be sure that the connecting surface is really clean. So I decided to put a rag on a thread bar, and for me it worked really well. And here you can see from the camera, the first 2 look perfect and the 2 in the back need some cleaning. And also need to be sure that the threads are all clean and don't have any diesel in it. Before I took them off from the car, I took some pictures so I know which of the injector goes on which cylinder. And in the manual it says you need to use some ceramic paste on the injectors so they won't get stuck in them if you ever need to take them off again. And I use one more time compressed air to clean the bolt holes. And remember, always use new bolts because they are stretch bolts. You can only use them one time. And before locking the injectors, I finger tighten those feed tubes back in place. And then set the torque wrench into 7 Newton meters. And when you have them torqued, you tighten it 90 degrees, and after that you put another 90 degrees on the bolt. And it's a scary part to do because I'm always afraid that they will snap. But luckily, they were just perfect. And back go the injector blocks. And next is the fuel return line, which is held in place with these little pins. And connect the battery back again. I have on my one installed a priming pump, so it helps me priming the fuel system. I check it that it won't leak anywhere. And because it didn't leak, I just started to put everything back together. So I went out for a little test drive. When I stopped the car, it starts up much better than it did before. So now the engine is running just perfectly.